Right, good morning. We're up to Siman Kuf Samach Zayin Sif Ches. Says the Mechaber, Shochach v'ochal v'lo berich Hamotzi. So it happens, a person washed into the Sedayim, and he then just ate his breads, and he didn't make the brach of Hamotzi. Im nizkar b'toich ha'su'uda mevorich. If he remembers during the meal, and he says, whoops, I forgot to make the brach of Hamotzi, then he can still make it then. Ve'im lo nizkar ad shegama su'udasoi eina mevorich. But once he's finished his suda, then it's too late. You can't make the bracha after you finish the meal. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sif Kotem Mem Zayin, mevorich, al masha yochel achakach. So if you're halfway through the meal and you realize you didn't make the bracha of Hamotzi, you can still make the bracha, and that will cover the things that you're going to have after the bracha. Because just because you ate till now without a bracha doesn't give you a green light to go and subsequently eat without more food without a bracha. That's what the Gemara says. Memches eina mevarich. But once you finish the meal, then it's too late. Shebirchas hanenin hu kashabirchas hamitzvahs, because the birchas hanenin, which is what birchas hamotzi is like other birchas hamitzvahs. She'ein mevarichin alein ela oiva lasi oson. The rule is you make a bracha over lasyasan. You make the shahakal, you drink the drink. You make the berpiretz, you eat the apple. But you can't make the bracha afterwards. Elim kain he mitzvah she'ef shelavarech aleh over lasyasan, unless it's just impossible to do it any other way around, which we've discussed before. Kamesh kos b'simen kuf nun ches sif yud aleph. That's regarding the tilis yadayim, etc. Umiu im ef sheloi le'echol oid ma'at tov shivarech hamotzi v'yechol. If you finish your sandwich and you say, hey, I forgot to make the bracha of Hamotzi, then it's good to find another little bit of bread to make the bracha of Hamotzi and to have a little bit more so that you can make the bracha. Okay, Siif Tes. Im hu mesupakim beirach Hamotzi im lav, eina choyze mevarich. If you're not sure, did I or didn't I make the bracha of Hamotzi, eina choyze mevarich. You do not go and make the bracha. Says the Mishnah Berurah Mem Tes. When you eat further more food, the birchas hamotzi ain't a midrabanan, because the bracha is only a drabanan. Even if you want to be, strict on yourself and be machmir and to make a bracha, you're not allowed to. Mishum bracha she'ein tzricha, because the Sophic bracha is the hakal is the rule, and therefore this becomes a bracha she'ein tzricha, and therefore you're not allowed to. Miu im nizdamen lefonav b'misibosei echot sheroitz elechol pas nochen she'yotzieu b'birchas hamotzi. The eitzah is, if somebody else is coming down to sit and make hamotzi, just say to that person, listen, I can't remember if I made hamotzi or not, can you be motzi me? On the side that I didn't make it, can you please be motzi me? That's the eitzah. Okay, so basically, just to summarize, in Sif Ches, if you forgot to make hamotzi, then if you've still got more food to make, you can still make the bracha. Once you finish not. In Sif Tes, if you're masupuk, Sophic bracha is the hakal, you don't make the bracha, maybe get someone else to be motzi you, that would be the eitzah. Okay, Sif Yud. In b'malkim birchas hamotzi berach shakol niebidvarei. Yeah, the guy is really confused now. So he sat down to have lunch, and instead of making hamotzi on his sandwich, he made the shakol niebidvarei. Says the Mechaber, Ishama Baruch Rachmana Malka Ma'orei Dahai Pita, or instead of making a hamotzi, and he didn't even say shahakal, he used this lashon. It's the lashon the Gemara brings. Baruch Rachmana, blessed is Hashem, Malka the king, Ma'orei Dahai Pata, who created this bread, Yotza, that b'di'evet, that's like a form of shahakal, and if b'di'evet he made that bracha, wasn't the correct bracha, but b'di'evet is yotza. Says the Mishnah Berurah Sif Kotem Nun, hainu berchas hamotzi, hainu af pas hu davar choshev. Even though pas is a davar choshev, afilu hachi mahani b'di'evet in berch shahakal. B'di'evet shahakal helps. For kol shkein al kol davar k'de'is lekam b'simen reish vav sif yud. That doesn't mean to say that if you're not sure, just make a shahakal, right? If you're not sure, find out. Right, that's the rule. But if b'di'eved you made a shahakol, then it does count. Nun aleph shahakol ni'bidvarei. Hainu she'ama baruch atu Hashem elkeinu melech haolam shahakol ni'bidvarei. Oy af shelo hiskir tehila klal. Or if you didn't even make this praise at all, rakam baruch rachmana. So he didn't say the tchila, he didn't say baruch atu Hashem, but he just said baruch rachmana, like the Mechaber said. Lechud is yotza. Kim sheyesh shema malchus. The milas rachmana koi b'makam Hashem, because the milah of rachmana, the merciful one, is referring to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shekein hoyu karenes over Bavel. That's how they called Hashem in Bavel. Or milas malka, who malchus is referring to the malchus of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Dahai Pita. So if he said instead, Baruch Rachmana Malka Ma'arei Dahai Pita, blessed is Hashem, the king, the creator of this bread, Dahai Pita. Then says the Mishnah Nun Beis, V'imam Malka Ma'ore Dahai, the creator of this, the king who created this, V'lo Hiske Shema Pas Klal. He just said he created this. Efshad the Yotza, it could be that he's also Yotze. Because the Maisa, the bread's in front of him. Yotza, but the also b'shtehen. But certainly he should not make either shahakol or this nusach of Baruch Rachmana on either of those. He should not make that on bread, but he should use the proper bracha. The af, the brachas ne'mar b'cholosh. Even though true, brachas are said in all different languages. That's when you shouldn't really change from the nusach of the bracha. When it says that you can make a bracha in different languages, that's when you translate it from the correct nusach of the bracha. But this is not the translation of Hamotzi lechem in haaretz. You hear you're just changing the nusach of the bracha. But nonetheless, but the Eved you are Yotze. Because you mentioned the Shem Hashem, you mentioned Malchus, the Inyan HaBracha. It's mashma from here that you actually said Malka the Alma, the king of the world, Mori who created. Umashma b'shas duadin im Oma Baruch Hamokim Melech Ha'ilam Shebara Pas Zed Yotza. If you said that nusach, then also b'di'eved your Yotze. Okay, Yud Aleph. Im Hayu Shnaim Eirabim. If you've got two or more people, Echad Mevarech Lekulam. One person can make Hamotzi for all of them. But dafka hisebu shul derech keva. That's dafka if they're sitting down in a derech keva. Oy balabayis in bnei beisoy to have a hisebu. It's as if they're sitting down together. Avalim hoyu yeshim below hisebu. But if they're not reclining, in those days that's how they would sit. Kimin she'enum nikboyim yacha. That's not considered a kvius. They're not considered sitting down together. Kol echad mevarech la'atzma. In that situation, each person will say their own bracha. V'im amru noichel kan oy b'mokum ploni. Let's eat. Should we eat here or should we eat somewhere else? Since they are designating a place for them to all eat together, that's considered a keva, and therefore one person can be motzi everyone. Even if they're not actually reclining. Says the Machaber, nowadays, we don't really recline when we eat. We don't have the chaise lounge. We don't do that. Yeshiva didon b'shulchan echad. Our kviyas is sitting together at one table. Or even if we haven't got a table, but we're sitting together in one area. Have a kviyas. That's the kviyas. And even if a whole chabura, that's like the heseba, the reclining of times of old. And even for us, even if we convey a place for us all to eat, unless we're all mamish sitting together at one table, that's not considered a kviyas for one person to be motzi everybody else. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Shnaim Eirabim. Nokat loshen zeh mishum de birchas hamazon dinahu de dafka b'shloishim mezamnin yachad u'moitziin kol echad es chaver. Dafka you need three to be moitzi other people. U'v'shnaim ein moitziin echad es chaver lechatchil. But when there are two people, we generally don't do it. So that one person should be moitzi the other. Aval b'birchas hamoitzi afil lechatchil yochel moitzi b'shnaim echad es chaver. So when it comes to birchas hamazon, if there are three people, one can be moitzi in times of old, but not really with one can be moitzi one other person. But when it comes to being moitzi for the bracha of hamotzi lechman oretz, then even one can be moitzi another person. V'hatam avur lekamon reish siman kuf samachim Mishnah Berurah. Okay, hesebu when they reclined, kein hoya darken b'achiloson Mishnah Berurah nun hey. That was their way when they would eat. Derech keva lios matin al tzidein hasmolis al hamita. They would sort of lean to the left on a couch. Because they're all sort of together. Even just by sitting together, that creates the kviyas. Even though each person is eating his own loaf, his own piece of bread, they can join together. Or Even according to us, don't say that our yeshiva is like their reclining. And therefore, when they don't need reclining, for example, they were kovea imokum. For example, they said let's eat here or in such and such a place. And so too, but they don't need haseba. Just saying, let's eat together in this place. Hava amina, I might have thought, for us, we don't even need yeshiva. Kamash malon, to below yeshiva lo mikrikeva. Without sitting down together, that's not considered a kviyus. B'shulchan echad, you need to have one table. I'm be'halacha, mashe kosavna b'shem hagra. If you look in the be'halacha, it says echad mevarich lekulam. The be'halacha says afilu hachi hamasubin yotzin yedei atzman yodin ba'atzman nevarich. When you've got people who know how to make the bracha of Hamotzi, mikol makom hidun mitzvah she'echad yivarich v'yotzi kulam the berov hadras melech. That's the general rule. One person is motzi, and we do that at Shabbos. One person makes the motzi, and it's berov hadras melech. But if you look at note 47, he says, "Ula inyan minhag bizmanenu." Nowadays the minhag is kos of Mishnah Bura. Unless it's Shabbos, right, where everyone is mamish sitting together, and the minhag is that one person is motzi everyone else. But generally speaking, if you're sitting down for lunch today, we don't have that one person is motzi another person. You don't say berev am hadras melech in that situation. We generally don't like people being motzi. Now, what's the reason? Why not? He says of a tamadova kos of sham, and the reason is because it's fraught with danger, because you've got to have in mind that you're being motzi, and not everyone is aware of that. So therefore it's better for each person to make their own brachas, because if otherwise we're sitting down and having lunch together, and I say, okay, I'll be motzi you don't have in mind to be yotze, and therefore it might not work. So better everyone makes their own brachas. Shabbos is different, and then everyone seems to know that one person makes the bracha. It seems to be that everyone should make their own bracha, unless you make it very clear. Shabbos we seem to do that, but generally speaking, from this note 47, it seems to be as preferable that everyone makes their own bracha. Okay.